Hi folks, something a wee bit different today. This is more like a video log rather than my usual reviews and travelogue videos and stuff. Basically this has come about because I've just received what amounts to a takedown notice from YouTube via the Gibson lawyers. It seems they're a wee bit upset with my video where I have the unboxing of my Gibson. I've never liked any of the names that come up with the Gibsons in mind, like the Fibson or the Crapson, as I've heard some people call them. To me they're just really a cheap make guitar. They look nice, the wood seems reasonable on them. They're a good start for basically a starter guitar. Nobody in their right mind would really be fooled by them. Anyone that knows guitars would know that this isn't a real high quality made Gibson instrument or anything like that. So it's just, I do find it a bit ironic that that was the video that they've actually picked, because it was the one where I take the guitar out and see how basically badly made it was. One of the tuners didn't work, the pickups were terribly microphonic, and one of the pickups didn't even work because the soldering wasn't done properly onto the pots. If you look back in recent history, one of the most popular and most well-known Les Pauls ever was the Les Paul played by Slash on the Appetite for Destruction album. And this was actually a copy of a 59 Les Paul made by one of the Californian luthiers, Chris Derrig, and he actually had a couple from Derrig, and he also had one from Max Barnett, which was known as the Hunter Burst, as it was used by the guitarist that used to play for Alice Cooper and done various sessions and stuff in the 70s with it. So here's a guy using replica or homage instruments, as I prefer to be calling them nowadays. So what is the difference? Why should Gibson issue a copy of a copy of a copy and be perfectly okay with it, whereas people selling or doing reviews on these Gibson guitars basically get takedown notices for reviewing, or even if they're bad reviews? In my case, why should that be? Well, I think one of the reasons being that this guitar really kick-started the Les Pauls again in the late 80s. Before that, Les Pauls were really on the way out. The late 80s were really time of the big metal guitarists and the easy to play sort of Ibanez's and things that were coming out at the time. Back in the 80s, the Les Paul was really going through a tough phase. It was the sort of time of the shredders, the sort of decade of the fast flashy guitarists like Malmsteen, Satriani and such. At that time, the only real guitarists using the Les Paul were probably guys like Randy Rhoads, John Sykes, maybe a few others, but not particularly shredders in that sense. They weren't real fast flash whiz kids on the guitar. So when Slash came around, that album sort of broke the mould again, and it shot the Les Paul way up the popularity charts again. So the last thing Gibson really needed was to actually publicise the fact that they weren't actually made by the Gibson company at all. They were actually made by the California luthiers, Chris Derrig and Max Barnett. So it's a wee story in and of itself there. There's quite a lot of history to that. Well, why should the Slash guitar get away with so much and the Gibson be so slagged and be subject to takedown notices everywhere now? I think it's the fact that it did popularise the Les Paul and sold thousands of them, and obviously made Gibson an absolute fortune in the late 80s and the 90s. Well, that's the main reason, I think. Well, pondering on the subject of fakes, counterfeits, what have you, I think the Gibson Corporation should really take a look at this one company who just now are producing really terrible copies of that once great classic instrument, and they're palming it off as a Les Paul. To me, there's something really bad about that, because they're really poorly made now and they don't look a fraction like the original guitars that they're actually copying. I think they should take a look at themselves. So from now on, I'll be referring to Gibson in any of my videos as homage. That seems quite a good word to replace it with. So that's what I'll be using, and that should sort things out. So here's the actual email that I got.
This is to notify you we have received a trademark complaint regarding your content, the details of which appear at the end of this message. We strongly encourage parties to resolve their trademark disputes directly. In order to give you an opportunity to respond to the complaint, we will not take action on the complaint for 48 hours. If you are unable to resolve this issue with the complaint will be reviewed by the YouTube team and may be removed, pursuant to our trademark guidelines. For more information on editing the title, description, or tags of your video, please visit the YouTube Help Centre at such and such and such and such. If the alleged violation is located within the video itself, you may have to remove the video in its entirety. Regards, YouTube Legal Support.
Clarification: this YouTube video contains a counterfeit Gibson from China called a Gibson. The counterfeit guitar unlawfully contains Gibson's registered Gibson wordmark, Les Paul wordmark, and Les Paul body design. Not only does the guitar infringe Gibson's trademark rights, but is unlawful to purchase counterfeit products. Please take down the posting.
And one thing I've got to add about this Gibson lawyer is, he's got the absolute easiest job in the world. All he has to do is go onto YouTube, type Gibson, and he'll get about 10,000 results. So all he has to do is notify Gibson and get them all taken down. That'd be an amusing thing. That'll keep him in work for a few years, I should imagine. So what I find really funny about the whole debacle is that really any luthier worth their salt at all could make a Les Paul just as good as anything output from the Gibson factory. I think Gibson should more worry about these guys than anything coming out from China, as they're really easy to tell. What with the tailpiece, the truss rod, poor pickups, the cutaway, the electronics, everything in them is really subpar. Even the wood, you can tell when you take the pickup covers off that under there it isn't really top quality maple that they're using, or even mahogany. They are good, solid, workman-like guitars as long as you change just about everything in them. So that's my take on it. I wonder what you guys will make of it. Let us know in the comments below what you think regarding fake Les Pauls versus replica Les Pauls or counterfeit Les Pauls. To me, they're all pretty much should be bundled in one and the same, but it seems that some are more replica and homage than the others. If you like this video, please subscribe. Cheers guys.